As you take a moment to settle in, imagine there's a part of you, a very ancient part, that responds deeply to certain things. It's a part that throughout your life, it's always been there, silently, quietly shaping how you perceive and react to the world. This part of you, the primitive brain, the reptilian brain, it doesn't need words to understand the world. It understands feelings, energies, impulses and sensations. It feels danger and safety, pleasure and pain, hunger and satisfaction. The language of this brain is emotion, and it's always looking for patterns, for ways to survive, for ways to keep you safe. And as you think about that ancient brain, think about how it responds to the world around you. You don't always need to understand exactly what's going on, do you? Sometimes it just feels like something is right or wrong. Something is safe or unsafe. Something is true or false. Your primitive brain, it's always been there, quietly shaping how you make sense of the world, how you interpret each situation, even the ones that seem complex or beyond your immediate control. Now, as you allow yourself to sink deeper into this awareness, consider this. When something happens in the world, especially when it triggers that deep emotional response, whether it's fear, excitement, or even something that feels a little more intense, a little more powerful, there's a shift where those feelings, those strong emotions, don't stay stuck. They rise, they move, they travel up into the higher part of your brain, the neocortex. And this part of you, the more rational, logical, thinking part, it begins to process those emotions. It begins to create stories, explanations, ideas. It begins to make sense of things. And in that moment, as the emotions move up and out, the mind seeks to rationalize, to give a reason for the way you feel. The mind might say, oh, I feel this because of this. Or this thing triggered that emotion, so this must be true. And it doesn't stop there, no. It can begin to weave an entire web of cause and effect, of stories and explanations. And the mind naturally searches for meaning, and it finds it. It finds ways to connect dots, to link feelings and ideas, to explain the sensations that you're having with logic. But here's something important to notice. That logic is not always perfect. It's not always a perfect match for reality, is it? It's a mix, an imperfect blend of emotion and reasoning, of old patterns, beliefs and experiences coming together in a way that feels right in the moment. As you reflect on this, you can begin to realize these beliefs, these stories that you tell yourself, they don't always have to be true. They don't always have to define who you are, because they're shaped by the very blend of emotion and logic. They're malleable, fluid. They can shift, change, or even dissolve. And here's something fascinating. Because these beliefs, they're formed when your brain is charged with emotion. When you experience something strongly, those beliefs, they become so deeply rooted. They become part of your identity. You take them in. You absorb them. You wear them like a mask. But these masks, these identities, they can be changed. Because the moment you realize you're more than the beliefs you've carried, the more you can choose new beliefs, new masks, new stories that will reflect who you're becoming, not who you were in the past. Now just imagine for a moment, each new experience, with each new realization, your brain has the ability to shift, to adapt, to rewrite the stories it's told. Imagine that, like a master storyteller. You have the power to choose the meaning behind each event, behind each emotion. You can choose the beliefs you wear. Just like choosing a new suit, a new mask that fits you perfectly, that reflects your truest self, the person you're becoming. And as you begin to consider this more deeply, you can start to notice how many times you've taken on a belief without even realizing it. How many times you've unconsciously adopted a pattern because it made sense at the time. Perhaps there was a fear, perhaps excitement, perhaps a deep desire for safety or connection. And now, as you reflect, you begin to realize those beliefs, they don't define you anymore. You can choose. You can choose how you want to feel, how you want to think, and what you want to believe. Isn't it fascinating when you think about it? those old stories, those beliefs, those patterns. They're only created because your brain, it needed them to make sense of the world. And yet in this moment you realise that you no longer need them. You have the power to create new stories, new beliefs. Beliefs that will support the person you are today and the person you're becoming. You're not your old patterns. You're not your old beliefs. You're not bound by the masks that you've worn in the past. And with each breath, you can feel a deeper sense of possibility opening up. A world of potential in which you can choose, in which you can create. And the more you create, the more these new beliefs then naturally become a part of who you are. Now with each breath, allow yourself to feel more and more confident in the belief that you're creating. Let the mask you wear today reflect the person you're truly becoming. The person who's in control of their thoughts, their emotions, their stories. The person who's empowered, flexible, and capable of shifting and adapting to the world in ways that support them fully. And in this moment, you can choose to step into that new identity, knowing the beliefs you've formed, the stories you've told yourself, they're yours to write. And as you take a deep, slow breath, you can feel a sense of peace, of confidence, as you move forward, knowing each thought, with each breath, you're shaping the reality that you choose. And with that knowing, you can relax into it, allowing your mind to open, to expand, feeling completely at ease with that powerful, limitless potential that you now carry with you.